Welcome to the Northern Ontario Mining Showcase podcast. It's a limited series for the Echo Community Podcast Network by Story Studio Network and Clark Communications. We highlight the influential voices, partners, and leaders who are driving innovation, research, and development, creating new market opportunities and new ways of doing business in the mining industry.
The Echo Community Network is on location at the Northern Ontario Mining Showcase, which is at PDAC 2024. Steve Tarchuk is here. Steve is with NORPRO Security Limited out of Sault Ste. Marie. And Steve, tell us a little bit, first of all, about why you're here at PDAC, a security company.
All right. So we purchased the business in August of this past year. NORPRO's been around since 1980. It started providing just general static security services and investigative services. It's expanded a lot since then. We now do industrial, and we're in the mining industry. We service a number of gold mines in the north, and we're looking to expand. So being at PDAC is a huge way for us to get some clients, get some new contacts, and get ourselves out there with the new ownership. The new ownership, we're pushing like ISO managed systems. We're running and living by those documents. So it really makes for a good workplace for our employees. And we've seen that in the last 6 months since we've taken over.
Until I got into the mining industry and started working with a number of different companies, I didn't really quite fully understand the scope of security and the relationship with security services and, like, let's say, remote mines. And when you think about it a little bit, if they're drilling for diamonds or mining for diamonds, the security to get in and out of these locations it's incredible.
It's multifaceted for sure. Like the biggest thing is keeping drugs and alcohol out of the camp, and then keeping the product and the raw material in the camp. So that's one thing that we specialize in. We're refining every day. My background, I come from the steel industry. We were governed in primary steel making and blast furnace iron making. We were governed under the Mining Act. So moving to NORPRO with their focus being on mining was a natural transition for me. So we're taking some of that technology, EMF, a number of different ways that we can detect gold coming out, right, to make sure that it is staying in the mine, and a huge piece on loss prevention.
This is your first year at the Northern Ontario Mining Showcase. Tell us why it's important for NORPRO to be here.
It's important because this is basically our way to tell everybody the new ownership is here. We are customer focused, and we also are launching health and safety and industrial hygiene. So when I left the steel mill, the industrial hygienist and one of the health and safety managers came with me. So we now have program design, quantitative respirator fit testing. We can do any site-specific services. The biggest thing with the respirator fit test, we come to the client. We come to them with our people, and then we train them on site for use and care of respirators, which is something that's a gap right now.
It's interesting that so many companies are multifaceted in so many different ways. So when I first said, you have to go meet NORPRO and find out what they're doing. So I'm thinking, okay, security services, but training, health and safety, all of these different facets you need in a company really for growth.
And it's important too because we're reporting to the same people. Health and safety and security are both intertwined, right? So by us providing those two services in that industry, it's easier for procurement, it's easier for the managers that have to deal with us on a day-to-day basis because they're dealing with our security guards already. It's the same faces that you're dealing with health and safety programming, audits, confined space training, anything that they need. Basically, most mines are going to have a pretty extensive health and safety program. But with our offering, we add on in addition to what they already have. You get industrial assessment, somebody does an air quality monitoring, they slap it on your desk and say, okay, here you go. Well, who manages it? You're not staffed for it, right? That's where we come in to pick up the pieces. We help, we give our reports, and then we check in and monitor with our existing clients to make sure that those requirements and those recommendations are being followed.
I love hearing stories where you told me you came up through the iron industry, and a local kid from Sault Ste. Marie who's a pretty good skier, and but the growth of NORPRO is incredible. Like this is becoming, and there's talks of a global operation.
Yes. So we're looking at expanding into some overseas operations, and there's a lot of Canadian companies that are operating in Ghana, West Africa. We are looking at expanding into that sector to offer Canadian security company on the ground over there for Canadian companies. So keeping that and making sure that we are focused on Northern Ontario, Canadian companies. Basically, your safety is our priority, and that's how we're operating.
What's your hope for NORPRO? I know that it's exciting. You're in this real growth phase, and things are happening. But what's your vision? What do you see? What's happening in the near future?
Our vision basically is to be the highest quality service that possibly anyone can get. Right? We want to be the number one leader in the industry. So how are we going to get there? Basically, we're pushing quality to the point that no one else is. Right? It's a multifaceted across the company, and it's going really well right now, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Well, it's great meeting you, Steve, and your company. It's incredible to hear the story, and Sault Ste. Marie kid doing well across the globe and doing great work here at the Northern Ontario Mining Showcase. We wish you all the best, and we look forward to your success in the future, Steve.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to the Northern Ontario Mining Showcase podcast. The series is produced for the Echo Community Podcast Network by Story Studio Network and Clark Communications. For more information, visit our website, northbayecho.ca.